This week on Nation's Business, we take you to the island of Kioa, located opposite of Mbuden Bay in Vanuatu, for the celebration of the arrival of the first people that settled on the island from Vaitupu in Tuvalu. Nation's Business is bringing to you the 70th anniversary of the Kioa Day celebration to mark the arrival of the first settlers on the island. In 1947, the people of Vaitupu Atoll in Tuvalu purchased Kioa Island. Initially, 37 people volunteered to migrate from Vaitupu to live on Kioa Island.
During the World War II, the Japanese invasion took off all the parts of many islands in the Kiribati, such as Tarawa, Butaritari, Magin, Ocean Island. After the Japanese invasion of the Kiribati during the Pacific War, the next move was for the Tuvalu. Tuvalu, they had to get off from Kiribati and then to go off Tuvalu to the invasion of the World War II. So the Americans got in to protect and to block the Japanese invasion. So they landed on Funafuti and they built bases of naval bases for the blockage. Now, during the very time, many of my forefathers, they went there to be employed under the labor corps. So from there, they earned a little bit of money. After that contribution of other Tuvalus had been employed before the war in Tarawa, since that was colonies time of Kiribati and Ellis Islands were one colony. That is a British protectorate. The people of Vaitupu were wanting to build a big hospital for the Ellis Islands right on our homeland soil, where the land that we originally come from. They changed their mind. There were rumors came up to Tuvalu that there is an auction sale on 3 islands here in Fiji: the island of Wakaya, the island of Rambi, and the island of Kioa. During that time was the time of the reign of the paramount chief here in the Kondrove was Ratu Kilakila Ngolea. He was the Tuinakau in that time.
There came a European who was there in the past as a teacher of Elisifo Primary School. It was on my home island too. And he asked the people whether they can change their ideas. Not to build the hospital, but to buy an island from Kioa. By that time, all the people, they agreed, and they tried to best and asked the young men to contribute. So they agreed, and they started to have that money.
The sales of Kioa Island was back in 1946 on the 12th of June. It was an auction sale that took place in McGowan House in Cumming Street, Suva. So the bidding went up right to 3,000 pounds, British pounds. Then the island was sold after the bidding. It was took up by the residence commissioner from Kiribati, who also based here in Fiji and in the Solomon Islands. Later the people thought that the island was purchased. It belongs to Ellis Island as a group of Kiribati and Ellis Island colony. But later they found out the island was only owned by the people of Vaitupu under the 110 shareholders who put together their money to purchase this land. In late 1947, on the 26th of October, the first group of volunteers landed on the shores of their new home. This is where it all began. When they left their beloved home, knowing that they have to relocate into a new land, which they were going to call home, is something that is a challenge laid before them. But they continue to pursue what is ahead of them. With the struggles, they knew all about the challenges, the differences of the environment and the people around them. Maybe they live a life of strangers or similar to pilgrimage life. But that doesn't make them turn back, but they continue to pursue what is ahead of them. So they came here. They landed on the shores of this land, Kioa Island, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, the 26th of October, 1947.
Within a decade, more than 235 people followed. Now the island is filled with a population of more than 800, some of who now live elsewhere in Fiji.
This is the concept of the people of Vaituku back in 1891. It was said that one day the generation of the particular time will leave their homeland to go to relocate into another land which is given for them, God's gift to them. After the fulfillment of it right at 1947, they knew it. This is the way of God as they believed. They were Christians in that time. Fiji was also a Christian state at that time when they came here.
From 1947, when the first settlers set foot on solid ground, the only greeting they received was the strange sound uttered by birds on the uninhabited island. It was at that moment the settlers realized they are now left alone in a foreign country far away from their homeland.
Though they lived, they built a small huts because it's drawing very close to night, so that they preserve all their luggages. They knew nightfall, we're going to live here. What will happen to us in a strange land, surrounded by diversities of languages, cultures? Never know that Fiji is also a multiracial country already. They were the last of the people who migrated here to Fiji in 1947. After many other Pacific islands were already in Fiji to make up the population or the multiracial of this country. So they reside on Kioa Island.
Time moved on. The first settlers encountered difficulties in the early years of relocation, but yet they look for better future.
They found it very difficult for them. They found it hard. They had to go through hardship, challenges, but they continue on. They even collect coconuts on the beach, but they drifted coconuts during time of the big river from Buddha, pushing all the coconut down this side and the current draw them close here. They cut copra and take them across to a Chinese shop, which is he's the buyer, and then they weigh them up and they get little money. That the currency at that time was pounds, shillings and pence was British money, and from there they can buy little of their groceries. But life is still hard for them, thinking back of their homeland, lingered in their minds and their hearts. Why did we leave our beloved home, Tuvalu? And that is our place of birth.
The islanders of Kioa made good relationship with neighboring villages and communities in the Takondrave province.
Later on, they come to know a few of the neighboring villages around here in Buddha Bay. And they found that the Fijians are very kind people. They were good to them. They brought in root crops. They brought in vegetables and then taught them agricultural knowledge of planting cassava and then planting dalo and dalantana, whatever that can be grown here. So they learned the skill from the Fijians, and they brought in food every now and then.
Later on, the island of Kioa received assistance from the government of Fiji.
In late 1963, when the subdivision of this island was by subsidizing coconut planting all around, and then the island was subdivided. And then we were given blocks for the people to plant coconuts subsidized by the government. This is the first step of the Kioans to develop their land since the arrival, when the government of Fiji assisted them with coconut subsidy. Then people planted coconut all around Kioa, and then cocoa came in. Agriculture introduced cocoa planting of the Waimaro all around the island.
We tried our best to find out ways that we can help most of the people on Kioa by trying our best to communicate with the government of Fiji so that they can help us.
Back in 1980s, the administration on Kioa connected the administration of Kioa with the government in many, many ways with other various ministries, and then become connected to the Prime Minister's office. That was during the regime of Rambuka. It became very strong, an allocation from the government as a subvention fund to assist the people of Kioa for 20,000 each year. And then it increases during the time of the reign of Garose, very little. Again, it increased up to 30,000. And then when the time of the new government, or the government of the day, now at the time of Baili Marama, it's gone right as far as 70,000 has been given away by the government each year for the operation of the Council of Kioa, and then work together with the Prime Minister's office in many, many other minor developments and other bigger developments to the land. We have been assisted by government since then till this very day as I'm speaking.
I think that is the only hope that we can work together if we have communication with the government of Fiji. Then we can go on to whatever we have to develop in Kioa for the future of the generation of Kioa.
One major development on the island is the assistance in the education sector.
2013 we applied for a new teachers' quarters, new classroom block to replace the first classroom that was built by our forefathers back in the days, and that has deteriorated through time. The government has done a lot for our school, and we wish to thank the Kioa Island Council for standing up front and assisting us to get assistance from the government. And the government has assisted us in so many ways, especially with the classrooms that you see that is here in the past. And just behind me you see the part of the materials that will be used by the school to erect the footpath to the teachers' quarters, and will join all the other classrooms. And just recently the government also assisted in the erection of a new teachers' quarters, and I believe that there are more other projects that have been applied for. I wish to thank the government of the day, the leaders of our country who have worked hard to develop our country. Also wish to thank the Ministry of Education for all the new initiatives that they brought our way. And I know that things are new, and we are always ready to embrace changes and hope that whatever changes that will come will benefit the children of Kioa Island School and the children of our country.
In this segment, we will bring to you the highlight of the Kioa Day celebration, marking the 70th anniversary of the arrival of the first settlers on the island. Officiating as chief guest at this auspicious event was His Excellency the President of Fiji, Major General Retired Chihochi Konusi Konrote. His Excellency was accorded the full traditional welcoming ceremony as he was carried off the boat with the use of the canoe called fotila, in keeping with the tradition of carrying visitors who arrived by sea. Prime Minister for Tuvalu, Honorable Enele Sopoaga, was also present at the event. The First Lady, Sarote Konrote, accompanied His Excellency the President.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Abulabidaka. Taropa. Welcome to Kioa.
Inside the tribal hall called Vayaku Falekau Pule for a Roko's welcoming ceremony, His Excellency the President was accorded the traditional welcoming ceremony called the Fatele. The accompanying Fatele are symbolic of authentic and rich culture of the people of Kioa. The Fatele, in its modern form, is performed at community events and to celebrate leaders and other prominent individuals, such as the visit of the head of state. This is the culture and tradition that has remained intact since the arrival of the forefathers on the island. Inside the hall stand 8 posts, and it represents the sitting location of the head of clans on the island.
Those pillars in the middle represent the elders, the chiefs, the clans, the church. Whoever is qualified to sit there in the post, in the Fijian language we call them Langanga Nivonua. They sit there to represent the community. Even the leader of the community, there are many councillors. Many of them will sit at the back, except the leader who represents the entire council.
The 70th anniversary celebration started with a church service giving glory back to the God Almighty for His protection and guidance since their forefathers set foot on Kioa Island until today.
And I wish to convey to you all our warmest greetings and congratulations on behalf of government and the people of Fiji. The people's belief and devotion to Almighty God was almost unparalleled. We noted this with great admiration and respect. Your reverence to God. Whilst in Tuvalu, our government asked me to reiterate Fiji's offer to assist the people of Tuvalu just in case our collective efforts to address climate change are not heeded by the major polluters of this world. Fiji is offering all Tuvaluans another home. And whilst we are Fijians now, I applaud you, the people of Kioa, to maintain your distinct culture and traditions. Our constitution in particular is geared towards providing equal opportunities for every single Fijian, without exception. Opportunities such as the right to a decent and sustainable life, free of any form of discrimination. Opportunities like access to the basic necessities of life, to affordable quality of education, and improved health care, among many others. Unveil it. There we go, sir.
You cast. Good.
There we go.
And then we
Unveil it. There we go.
there you go.
Please, a big round of applause. Prime Minister of Tuvalu, I'm very, very happy to be here to witness the celebrations of the 70th anniversary of settlement here in Kioa. I was really touched by the spirit that still is there, of Tuvalu people, the people of Vaitupu, in their foresight into the horizon and beyond the horizon. This was 70 years ago, just at the close of the Second World War. And already these leaders of Vaitupu, Tuvalu, were already looking beyond the horizon, beyond the limited, the landscape of Tuvalu. And of course, with stamina, with commitment and trust that they can look and find perhaps a greener pasture for the future generations. The important thing is not the economic benefits of this decision, but to me it is the values of connectivity between the peoples of Vaitupu, Tuvalu and the people of Fiji.
His Excellency the President, Major General Retired Conrote, says in celebrating the 70 years of settlement in Kioa, people must reflect on the concept on the unique arrangement that has allowed togetherness, unity and harmony for the past 70 years.
Esse senuku, eiloneo, se fe